welcome to my show. A guest here. His name is Gavin David. Mr. Gavin, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, and thank you very much for inviting me to your platform. I'm really feel honored, Temitope, and I am excited to spend this time with you, and I'm seeing forward to this conversation.
All right, Mr. Gavin, and also thank you so much for the time and the opportunity. Firstly, you are an author. You are also a speaker and a transformational life coach. Can you please, Mr. Gavin, discuss more about yourself and how you are doing currently now, Mr. Gavin?
Yes, you're 100% correct. I'm a transformational life coach. I'm the founder and life coach of TGD Life Coaching. And yeah, as you said, I'm an author. I'm the author of the book The Fire and the Well. You the obstacle and the answer. And it is a book that I wrote about my personal experience, and that actually developed into a coaching framework, which I call the Fire and Well framework, which my coaching is based upon. And currently, I'm also a member of Comensa, and I'm privileged to also indicate to you that I'm a finalist in the research section, which will take place tomorrow evening on the 16th of April at the Comensa convention, which celebrates their 20th in existence. So that's me in a nutshell. Yeah, and as I said, I'm privileged to be here today.
Exactly, and it is very much beautiful that the career was built from the book you wrote. That is The Fire and the Well. It shows how transformation can actually happen and how beautiful, as you, as currently a transformation coach, that also use that source for inspiration for others. That no matter what we are building or no matter what we are putting down, so far it is positive, it can actually explore and also groom to something more bigger. And also, I would like to drive to the point of areas and also what you think inner renewal actually look like in real life, Mr. Gavin. What do you
Inner
think
renewal.
inner renewal
That
actually
is,
look like, especially for people who have been surviving for so long that they no longer remember what it feels like to feel whole, Mr. Gavin?
this is such an important question for me as well. And I think it speaks to so many people who are high functioning on the outside, um, while quietly fractured on the inside. So when survival becomes your default mode, you stop asking what you need because there simply um, has not been space for that question. Um, you just keep moving. Inner renewal in real life does not always look dramatic. It is rarely a single moment of lightning bolt clarity. So what more often um, it looks like a pause in the middle of a busy day, um, where you actually feel something again. Um, it looks like choosing the rest without guilt. It looks like a conversation with someone you trust where you let your guard down for the first time in months. And I say for people who have been surviving for a long time, I often say that wholeness begins with permission. So permission not to be okay, permission to grieve what was lost, permission to say, I have been pouring out from a well that I have never actually felt. And once that permission is granted, the process of replenishment can begin slowly, honestly, and with grace.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gavin. It shows that when it comes to healing, when it comes to transformation, when it comes to inner renewal, it is a process. It is something that one
Mm,
has to give a sense of patience and reflection into before someone can
mm,
start to actually recover and also heal as well. And Mr. Gavin, I would like to also drive to the point of how you think one can also recognize when they are being invited into a season of inner renewal rather than simply trying to escape discomfort or reinvent the surface of their life, Mr. Garvin.
Okay, so when I talk about escape, escape is reactive, um, and renewal is responsive. So the invitation into a season of inner renewal often comes not when life is going wrong, um, but when life has been going on long enough that you have to uh, that you have the quiet courage to stop and ask, is this really who I am? Um, now, the signs are usually subtle. A restlessness that is not anxious about, that's not anxious, but it's really honest. A recurring sense that something important in you has been set aside for too long. Um, a weariness that does not go away with more sleep, because it is not physical tiredness. It is actually a soul that needs something deeper than rest. So I always notice that the invitation often comes uh, through contrast. You catch a glimpse of someone who is generally alive from the inside out, and something in you says, I want that. Not their life, but the quality of life. Now, that recognition is not envy. That is your fire responding to what is possible for you. And instead of dismissing it, I really encourage people to lean into it. That response is definitely data. It is your inner self pointing towards something real.
That means that every single sign that actually happens to us, I think, is actually telling us something because those inner instincts are in a position to actually give us the direction at times, and we should be in the position to recognize it, to spot it, so that we can be in the position to avoid a sense of discomfort and also reinvent, not be in the
Mm,
position to reinvent surface of life as well. So, Mr. Garvin, I sincerely appreciate you for that brief insight you actually made. And also, I would like to drive to people who feel worn down by failure, identity loss, or repeated setback. What do you think helps them begin rebuilding from a place of truth instead of shame, Mr. Garvin?
I speak about this from a personal experience, if I can respond to the question that I know what it is to have something you built, um, that you built that collapse under you. I was in a partnership, and I was part of, um, yeah, I was in a business partnership. I was part of, and did not just create financial loss when that partnership collapsed. It created an identity crisis also when the partnership collapsed, apart from the financial loss. It also started asking the questions, who am I now? What was all of that for? Those are the questions that came up. Those questions can either bury you, or it can become the very ground on which something truer gets built. Now, the shift from shame to truth begins when you stop confusing what happened to you with who you are. Failure is an event, I say, and it is definitely not a verdict. Shame tells you that what went wrong defines you permanently. So the truth it says that what went wrong reveals something that still needs to be healed and that healing is available. So practically, I encourage people to find at least one space, whether that is with a coach, a trusted friend, or before God, where they can say the unedited version of what happened without performing strength or minimizing pain. So, to close off with this question, is I will say that truth telling in a safe space is not weakness, it is the beginning of rebuilding on something that will actually hold.
Mr. Gavin, I sincerely appreciate the message of encouragement because this is a very powerful message. You made it clear and you made it people understand that failure is something that we have to go through. It is something we have to carry at times, but it is in a position for it to target our wounds, where our weakness relies, for us to
Mm,
grow more better and also become more better in that perspective. It shows how powerful failure, setback is in our life because it is more like a pivot. It is more like another
mm,
way for us to actually come back up. And for us to come back up, we have to heal that wound and become more
mm.
stronger. I sincerely appreciate you for the great insight. And I would also like to drive to the point of signs that you think the signs that you think a person, or what do you think are some signs you think a person is truly experiencing inner renewal even before outward result begins to show? What do you think are some of the signs, Mr. Gavin?
Yeah, I love this question because it protects people from abandoning a real process simply because it does not yet look like what they imagined. Inner renewal has early signs that are easy to dismiss if you are only watching for the visible results. Now, one of the first signs is a shift in your inner dialogue. The voice that used to narrate your day in terms of what you are lacking um, or getting wrong starts to sound different. Not perfectly positive, but more honest and less punishing. So, another sign is that stillness stops feeling threatening. Now, people in coping mode are often addicted to noise and busyness because stillness forces them to feel what they have been avoiding. When stillness becomes a gift rather than a threat, something definitely has shifted. And then a third sign is that your relationships begin to carry a different quality. You start to notice you are less reactive, more present, more willing to be seen, and perhaps most importantly, I will say you develop what I call a quiet hope, not the loud optimism that is really just denial, but a deep, settled sense that things can be different. Now, that quiet hope is what I call the water rising in the well. And it always comes before the outward results that others can see. So that is my response to that.
Thank you so much. Quiet hope and other features you've actually brought under discussion for one to recognize I am actually healing from this wound. Because for someone to be in a point of inner renewal, it is a process. It is not something that comes overnight. It is something that
Mm.
comes with a task. And that is why I love the way you said it is something someone has to continue to work on till the person gets to the stage of actually developing that healing. And also the point of one recognizing that I think I am now healing. One as will be in the position to come out more worldly, want to be in the position around people, and also other features you've brought to the table as well. Lastly, I would just like to drive to the point of the process because when someone is trying to break through from a situation and it's really feeling slow, there could be also one or two things that one can also do as well. So, how do you think one can stay committed to personal breakthrough when the process feels slow, uncomfortable, or invisible to everyone else, Mr. Gavin?
Um, this is one of the most practical challenges of transformation. Um, the world around us rewards speed and visible results. If we look at today at social media, it makes it look like everyone else is having a breakthrough almost every day. And when your own process feels slow and quiet, it is easy to conclude that either you are not doing things right, you're doing it wrong, or what you do is not working. Um, what has helped me and what I teach my clients is the practice of marking. You create internal markers for the things that have shifted, even when they are not yet visible to anyone else. So uh, the conversation you did not avoid, the boundary you yelled, the moment you choose rest without guilt. These are markers. If I can mention that again, the conversation you did not avoid, the boundary you yelled, the moment you choose rest without guilt. That's markers of progress, and they deserve to be acknowledged. I also encourage people to really stay rooted in their why. The why is your purpose, not just what they want to achieve, but who they are becoming and why that matters for them. For me, that rootedness is deeply connected to my faith. I have learned to trust the process even in the seasons when the evidence is thin, because I understand that growth is happening in specifically in that roots long before it appears in the branches. Uh, so patience is not passivity, it is active, faithful commitment to a process that is working even when it does not yet look like it.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gavin. You actually made a great point in saying patience and actually staying committed to the process, even when it feels like nothing is actually working. We feel like I don't think I'm actually breaking through. We might be breaking through
Mm,
in one way or the other. And you also made some features to make people understand that we are in the process. When we're yelling, some kind of character comes out, and we ask ourselves the why. Why is this this?
mm,
Then we are in that process of transformation that we get us to that position of healing, which we are actually building as well. So, Mr. Garvin, it is a great opportunity for this important conversation, and I sincerely appreciate the time for this conversation as well. Mr. Garvin, there is also a
mm.
question I normally ask during the end of the show. From our forefathers, from our ancestors, there are a lot of beautiful things that do exist during our forefathers' time that is missing in our time today. If there is anyone or anything you would like to bring back to our time today, Mr. Gavin, what do you think that thing will be, Mr. Gavin?
It's to stay focused, to believe, um, just to understand who you are, your real identity, understanding your true identity, um, and what is your identity grounded on. In my case, my identity is in Christ, and I believe in that, and I need to find that through the challenges. So, yeah, and that's why my coaching is focusing on my limiting beliefs, because what we sometimes get in our past, in our is challenged with limiting beliefs, what people say, what the world say about us. So for me, that is what I would like to say is to, who are you? What is your identity? Um, what is your identity based upon? And for me, as I said, that is very important, because our whole life are attacked about who are we. Um, so that is what I can respond to.
Thank you so much. Which is one of the things that we've actually lost, to be honest, Mr. Gavin, in our time, most especially the young ones who are out there, because we have to understand who we really are and also what we are meant to do in the life we find ourselves. We have to understand ourselves. During the time, during our forefathers' time, we were in a position whereby there were more communities, so people had the time to sit down and understand the kind of person they are. But due to the sense of the distraction that are out there, there is no much space for people to actually sit down and actually work on themselves, to work on healing. But we are all encouraged for us to have transformation, for us to heal. We have to do it within ourselves. It is always a process and it requires patience. Mr. Gavin, I want to use this opportunity to thank you for the opportunity for us to have this profound and insightful conversation today. Thank you so much, Mr. Gavin.
Thank you so much. I must thank you as well, and good luck with the good work you're doing.
All right, Mr. Gavin. Have a wonderful day, Mr. Gavin. Bye bye.
Bye bye.